80% of Social Security beneficiaries will be dead by the time they reach 90. Hear me, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. When I do the trumpet, the PVC trumpet, that means eyes up front. Stop looking around. Don't look at that hot chick over there. You, freaking Carl, get your eyes up here. All right? Sergio, don't be doing the research on reverse mortgages. We can do that later. Eyes up front. Eyes on your old buddy Josh. Penelope, I know you're out there, in the bot land. Eyes up front. All right, so what I like to do, because I'm weird like that, is I like to look at data from the Social Security Administration. It's fun for me because I'm a weirdo. You know how all these idiots say, I'm just a nerd, and they're all like hot chicks and, freaking buff boys. I'm just a nerd. I like to look at, I'm just a, No, they're not nerds, dude. They're just fake. For some reason, it's cool to be a nerd now. I'm a geek when it comes to it. So I got all these. We got 2009 document, 1999 document, and 2022 document. What are these documents, you ask? Well, I will answer because I'm your buddy, Josh. We're going to look at this. The Annual Statistical Supplement to the Social Security Bulletin 2022, 2009, and 1999. All right, and what this is, we're going to go down here to the table of contents. I'm going to show you 5 dot. And we're going to look at this. Benefits and incurrent payment status. All right. And this only goes back. I can only find it going back to 1999. There's just so much in here. Watch all this. This is great. If you like a fun adventure, as I do, look at all this. SSA.gov. Just so much stuff in here. Social Security Bulletin, mixed methods study to understand public law, public use of Social Security's online platform. Just so much stuff in here, dude. It's fun. It's just... Public knowledge about the Social Security retirement program, differences by race and ethnicity. Why are women more pessimistic about Social Security's future than men? I don't know, but it's interesting. Just tons. Female veterans. We got a lot of racial stuff lately since Sniffy Joe, Bo Johnny came in. A lot of racial and women stuff. The world's about to die. Women and minorities hurt most. It's just idiotic, dude. Female veterans. Socioeconomic characteristics, disability patterns among Social Security beneficiaries. How about white man? I just like to see one thing that says white man for once. Just one thing. Let me just see white man. Can we ever see that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just tons of stuff in here. And this is just the beginning, by the way. This is under, statistical data files, like right here. Annual statistical report on Social Security disability insurance. Annual statistical supplement. So we can click on this guy right here. This only goes back to 1999. Release date, which kind of sucks, but there's other stuff in here you can find. 97, excuse me. But I don't think the statistical thing goes back to, new beneficiary. So we don't have the statistical thing. Income of the aged, but facts and figure, annual statistical supplement. That's the first one. Anyway, so we're going to look at that because we go back to 1999. All right, my friends. All right, my amigos, mis amigos. And it's just a blast to look at this stuff. If you have the time, this is why being retired or self-employed is fun, because you can do all the stuff you wanted to do, but you couldn't. And then you could talk about it. I could never talk about this when I was working for the man. Yeah, the freaking man. But anyway, so I want to show you guys something. We got 3 different data sets. 1999, 2009, 2022. I could have made it easy 2019, but I just printed off 2022, and I'm not going to print off 2019. I want to save the environment. Save the environment. So stupid. So we're going to take the number of Social Security beneficiaries in 1999 according to socialsecurity.gov, SSA.gov, what I just showed you right there, was 6.6 million. We're going to come back to this asterisk in a second. The number of Social Security benefits who are between the ages of 70 and 74 in 2009 was 8.6 million. And then it went to 14.66 million. As the baby boomers got older, there's more beneficiaries. Shocking! This doesn't matter for what we're talking about here. What matters is how many of this cohort of people survived into the next decade. And then survived again into the next decade after that. That's what matters. It does, and this is why in my book, Relax and Retire, I cannot stress enough you need to get that, because a lot of people get confused. Look at 6.6 million people. Look how many more people are aging, are getting older and older and older. That's not what we need to look at. That's irrelevant. What matters is how many people here will be 20 to 25 years out and still on Social Security. And if we look at 1999, the age group 70-74, 10 years later, 2009, the age group 80-84, the same group of people, the same cohorts, all right? These are not new entrants. These are the same group of people. How many people are receiving Social Security who are the ages of 70-74 in 1999? Add 10 years to 2009, 10 years to their lives too. How many people, those people survived until 80-84? We lost 1.3 million. That's a big number, about 15% or so. But then how many people survived until 2022 over the age of 90? Only 2.2 million. That's 66% of the people who are between the ages 70 and 74 were still receiving Social Security by the time they're over 90 years old. 66% of the people were gone, I should say. So 34%, a third, were still alive to receive Social Security. That's it. And yet everyone says, I got a plan for a 30-year retirement. Why? Where's the evidence? I'm not saying don't, I'm just saying, dude. But it gets worse. The asterisk, we come down here. This is the amount of people who are receiving Social Security 62 to 70. Now, there's something to be said about here because some of these people did not take Social Security here. We know that, you know what I'm saying? Which makes it even worse, though. That makes it even worse because you don't have to take Social Security between 60 and 70. You're going to take it over 70. So this is spot on. We know exactly there's 6.6 million people the ages 70 to 74 taking Social Security in 1999. We know that for a fact. Now, that doesn't mean 9.3 million were all the people in this cohort under the age of 70, because a lot of these people might not have taken Social Security, which they didn't. Some people wait until they're 70, some people wait until they're 68, and they might be not, well, I guess it's still, though, 62 to 70. I mean, yeah, I don't know, that might be spot on. Either way, it doesn't matter. We got 9.3 million between the ages of 62 and 70, all right? Plus the 6.6 million there. That's 16 million people between the ages of 62 and 70. So if you're 70, we add 23 years, 1999, 23, you're 93 years old then. If we're 65 and we add 23 years, you're 88. So you're not quite here, but you're pretty doggone close. Either way, we have 16 million people between 62 and 74 taking Social Security. Fast forward 23 years later, only 2.2 million remained who were over the age of 90. Now we can see how many were over the age of between 85, let me get to 2022, 85 and 89, and we can tell you exactly, so hang tight. So 85 to 89, we had, hold on just a second, pause this real quick. All right, so here we got between 85 and 89, 3.6 million people between 85 and 89. Add to the over 90 group, that's 5.8 million. So we started, so this right here, 23 years, 1999, 2022 is 23 years. 23 years, 62 plus 23 is 85 years old. So we had 16 million people receiving Social Security between 62 and 70 and 70 and 75. 16 million people between 62 and 74. After in 23 years, they're all over 85 or above. Only 5.8 million remained. That's it. And then look at the drop off from 85 to 89 to over 90. Only 5.8 million. And people say, oh, but the life expectancy is so much higher. No, this starts in 1999. This isn't like in 1916 with tuberculosis and all that, because we didn't have the internal combustion engine taken over yet. And all these horse and buggies are running around and horses were pooping everywhere and the flies are getting all that. And we didn't have clean water. We didn't have refrigeration. We just had dung everywhere. We didn't have hygiene standards and whatnot. So of course tuberculosis, smallpox and all that. The vaccine saved us all. Okay. Next thing you know, Jonas Salk is a hero. Okay. No, don't do any research. Just listen to what they tell you. That's fine. I'm here to educate you. You don't have to. I'll tell you what to think. The idea that these vaccines solve us all. Man, it's just, no, let's just leave it at that. Don't want to get banned. Let's just put it this way. Maybe there's an alternative explanation. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe there's an alternative explanation that when you have no horse and buggies and all the flies and all that flying around your food, you have refrigeration, you have hygiene, You have all these various different techniques that came around, and then you have electricity and whatnot a few years later. That probably helps a lot for life expectancies. Oh, by the way, then you fast forward to 2020, and guess what the clowns in New York and Pennsylvania, Massachusetts and whatnot, what do they do for older people who are on Medicaid, who had COVID? They put them into what? They put them to nursing homes. How ironic is that? Why would they do that? And guess what? They didn't let them see their parents or their kids or anything like that. They just put them in nursing homes with people who didn't love them. Why would they do that? Oh, because maybe Medicaid, not Medicare, Medicaid is one of the biggest line items there is on the state budget. And think about it. If you look at New York State, which I always pick on because it's so egregious at how Andrew Cuomo is not in jail, I can't understand. It's crazy. It's just insane. The January 6 guys are in jail, but Andy Cuomo is still running around acting like an idiot. So here we got Medicaid is it's the second biggest line item in the state of New York. And it's going to be for your state too. I'm just telling you, it'll be one of the top three. It's going to be education is number one. Medicaid is usually number two. All right. So what's happening in a place like New York? People are getting older. More and more people go on Medicaid. People are getting older. Less and less people being educated as well. So the education budget relative to Medicaid, is dropping because less and less people are having babies. More and more people are doing the smart thing and homeschooling their kid to get them away from the insanity that's public schools. And a lot of Christian schools too are just woke as can be as well. It's insane. And so there's more and more homeschooling, taking away the cost of the budget for education, but more and more people on Medicaid, which is a big deal for state budgets. And so what does Andy Cuomo do? Let's throw them into a Medicaid facility, all the people with COVID, and lock the doors so they can't go out and they can't get any love. And all will be good. And as such, the life expectancy dropped. So you can sit there all day long and say, but the life expectancy from 1999 until 2023 has improved dramatically. And again, we look at life expectancy not at birth, but life expectancy at 65. It's just not true. It's just not true. I mean, maybe a year, but again, we're not doing anything significantly. And yet you can see right here, we had 16 million people on Social Security who are the age of 62 to 74. Fast forward here, we have 5.8 million people. That's a significant drop, my friends. And then if you take out the 62 to 70 people, how many of these people are left over? 66% of the people are gone. That's a significant drop. And then you factor in, again, a lot of these people who are over the age of 62, but aren't on Social Security, aren't even in this thing. So that means more people, because let's just say 2 million people between the ages of 62 and 70, but weren't taking Social Security. Those 2 million people aren't even in this number right here. But those 2 million people would be reflected in this number right here because at that point, once they're over 70, they're all on Social Security. So this discounts the number of people that are actually between the age of 62 and 70 because those amount of people who aren't taking the benefit aren't included here. But then you fast forward here, they are included here because if you're over the age of 70, you're going to get Social Security. It's guaranteed. I mean, obviously, if you're a teacher and you're, with a Texas teacher, Georgia teacher, I think Virginia still, you might not be on Social Security. There's very, very few people like that. And the old CSRS days, but that's so far removed. It's not even, we're talking a couple 100,000 people, maybe 1 million at most. Definitely not a lot. So the likelihood of you having a 30-year retirement, is not high. It's actually quite low. The likelihood of you going to live well into your 90s. But look, how many of these people are going to live until their 90s? Well, in 2022, there's 14.66 million on Social Security who are over the age of 74. If 75% of those people died before they're 90 years old, that's going to be, I don't even know what that is. It's going to be, 4, right? Basically 4. 4 million people left over. That means 10 million people died before they hit 90. It's just a fact. Then on here, look, 6.6 million people are right here. 9.3 million people, 62 to 70. 23 years later, only 3.6 million people left. That means 66% of you are going to be dead before you hit your 90s or before you hit your late 80s for Social Security. You should plan accordingly. And if you think it's going to change because some Elon Musk or some fool at the CDC or NIH, all right, that's fine. You can think that. I just think you're crazy, but I got no call on that. But man, I got to work a couple extra years because I got to live till I'm 100. And how many people right now are over 100 years old taking Social Security? And this is in 2022. 72,000 people. 72,000 people. It ain't going to be you. No. Love your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe. If these videos help you, buy me a cup of coffee. The cup of coffee link is the Doobie Dook. I mean, Christmas is coming on. Get your old buddy Josh a cup of coffee. I take decaf. It's right there in the Doobie Dook. You gotta support your old buddy Josh, man. A cup of coffee. Let's go. Make it. If you want, Americano is worth 2 cups of coffee. So 2 cups of coffee, Americanos. I don't drink caffeine. I don't do drugs. I don't drink alcohol. I'm just high on life. People say, is he high? He's so hyper, blah, 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 blah. High on life, baby. You only got one shot. Make it work. All right. God bless. We'll see you.